morning. So I'll be talking about pediatric leukorrhea and ROP. So when you see a leukorrhea like this in case of ROP, then it's already too late. Typically in ROP in India is that you have seen more severe cases like AP-ROP, lack of awareness of pediatrics and ophthalmologists, lack of access to care, referral reluctance among colleagues, and late arrivals which leads to a high occurrence of blinding ROP in these cases. Typically you see the bottom right photo, stage 5 is what leukorrhea comes in and signifies total retinal detachment. Stage 5 is more commonly in zone 1 ROP because it's a smaller zone and a very small amount of retina is formed in these cases. The ROP screening guidelines suggest that we should screen all the babies less than 1500 gram birth weight, less than 32-week gestation age, or even higher babies if they are considered to be high risk to develop ROP by the neonatologist. While we typically screen at 31 weeks post-conceptional age or 4 weeks after birth, whichever is earlier, we can also screen as early as 2 to 3 weeks in very low birth weight babies. If you can't remember all that, the good rule is that a 30-day rule that you can screen all these babies by 30 days, at least one screening should be done. Since ROP occurs after birth, screening within the first 2 weeks of life is not needed. Indian scenario is typically very different. We also see very small babies, while we also see very large babies. Very small babies because they are very sick babies, and very large babies because of the poor nursery practices we again encounter large instances of ROP. The early treatment of ROP group suggests that we should treat all cases of type 1 ROP, which signifies zone 1 any stage, zone 1 stage 3 without plus, or zone 2 stage 2 to 3 with plus. This chart just makes it more clear that it will appreciate that in zone 1, a lot of these babies need to be treated. So why does leukorrhea happen in ROP? The most important cause is late screening or no screening in ROP, which leads to late referral and late or no treatment. Sometimes we encounter wrong treatment, and sometimes the disease itself is so severe that it progresses despite laser. This is a child of a doctor who came to us. The child was very sick, the mother was very sick. The hospital saved the child, saved the mother, but the child came to us like this. All the praises for the pediatrician suddenly disappeared when they saw the child was like this. It's another case. This case came to us. This was advancing and going to stage 4A ROP. The child was nice laser. Child became very sick. He continued to progress. Although laser was done late, it ended up in stage 5 ROP. So although there is late presentation, if you don't treat in time, then the ROP is going to progress to stage 5. Nothing much can be done about it. So we need to understand that premature babies often get sick during laser, after laser, and when indicated, we should treat them as soon as possible. The biggest problem in experienced hand is AP-ROP or aggressive posterior ROP. When you open the eyes of the child, this is what you see. You should suspect that the child is having aggressive posterior ROP. While tunica vasculosa lentis is a normal finding in premature babies, if you have an angry-looking tunica vasculosa lentis in a premature child, you should suspect aggressive posterior ROP. This is what typically an AP-ROP picture looks like. You see that the junction is very quiet. There's no demarcation line, no demarcation ridge, which is suspicious of ROP. But what you see is that the dilation towards the vessels is out of proportion to the severity which you see at the junction. If you have a closer look, you will appreciate that this arrow shows these vascular loops, and all the retina inside is also avascular. Let's see another case in which you see this is a case of AP-ROP. While most people will decide to follow this case needs urgent treatment right now, because if you do fluorescent angiography in this, you see that the red arrow is where typically most people will want to laser, but the blue arrow is where the retina is finishing. So basically it's a zone 1 disease, and the entire area between the red and the blue arrows you also have to laser if you want the disease to go away. Some of the cases we referred, like no stage of ROP seen, direct tortuous vessels are written. So this is for me a case of AP-ROP. If you keep on waiting and following after 2 weeks, nothing might be left for there to laser. In the case, ROP not possible and dilate pupil. If the pupil doesn't dilate today, the pupil will not dilate after 1 week at all. If the pupil is not dilating, you have to look for plus disease. You have to sit down, wait for the pupil to dilate. If it doesn't dilate, then you have to peek inside the small pupil itself, because this signifies plus disease and is indicative of a severe ROP occurring in this baby. The main problem is false security sometimes happens after treatment. This child looked very nice, looked after laser, the child looked very regressing pattern was seen, the vessels are not dilated tortuous. But see what happens in the next 4 weeks. The child started developing a severe TRD in these eyes and started to go into stage 5. If you look very closely, the retinal vessels did finish actually much before where this should have, and the laser was incomplete. So in zone 1 ROP, incomplete laser really took progression of this disease. In this case, if you see it was a regressing pattern and everything looked okay, for 4 weeks the regression continued. Just see the patch where the arrow is there. This patch continued to worsen and traction continued to develop in this eye, and eventually a full TRD apparent into stage 5. So I want to say that you need to follow up these babies. Even a very small patch which appears to be insignificant can progress and contract the retina to a very severe degree. Sometimes we have false security associated with wrong treatment. Like this child came to us, some small amount of laser has been done, the ridge is thickening progressively, child is progressing in ROP. So in this case, if you do an incomplete laser, the ischemic stimulus is not going away, and incomplete treatment is a short way to increase ROP in these guys. In this case, you again see that some kind of barrage laser has been done peripherally, but the anterior whole part, the laser is on. Fortunately for the child regressed, but if you don't laser the ischemic retina, this ROP will not go away. Now, various modalities are available for us to treat ROP. If the ROP does tend to progress, you can augment the laser, you can do anti-wave scalene buckling, filtration surgery. All this can be attempted. If you have very dense ridge coming in both the eyes, then sometimes you do barrage laser. You can see the right bottom photo. Barrage laser has been done. It helps to regress the ridge much faster in these cases. And the very important thing which we noted is that even if the PRE does appear, the barrage helps to keep the traction limited to the periphery. So it doesn't actually extend and go into ring formation and go ahead to form a stage 5 ROP. What is the current role of anti-VEGF in ROP? The BEAT ROP trial was the major study which compared bevacizumab and laser therapy head-to-head, and they found that there was significant benefit in zone 1 ROP if you give Avastin, and the recurrence was also much less as compared to laser. But why didn't it become mainstream? Because the safety profile is not clear as of now. Again, showing you a case, again the right eye, you see that both the eyes was lasered, but the ROP continued to progress in both the eyes. The ridge continued to thicken. In the next 3 weeks, the right eye went to stage 4B ROP. Left eye continued to progress despite laser. So anti-VEGF was given in the left eye, but even after giving that, it was observed that the left eye did regress, the right eye continued to progress, and even after VR surgery, the eye could not be saved. So what is the current staging? What is the current rule for the use of anti-VEGF? Currently, the status is that anti-VEGF is not approved for treatment of ROP. There are long-term side effects which are there, which we don't know about. Systemic absorption is a reality with anti-VEGF. It has been documented in adults as well. So what makes a preterm child different from a child, from an adult when using anti-VEGF? The child is a preterm child, his kidney is developing, brain is developing, lung is developing, all the vital organs are developing, and anti-VEGF going inside his systemic circulation will stop the development of vessels in these parts, and we are not sure how the child will be when he is 4 years, 5 years old. So anti-VEGF is seriously not approved for treatment right now, although people are using it sometimes with consent and all. But for all practical purposes, it is not approved internationally for the treatment of ROP, and there is a lot of medical liability involved with it. So what happens if some of the cases do progress? Sometimes the cases progress, and we have the band-like formation is happening. The TRDs tend to lift the retina on both the sides. So if you do vitreous surgery, small gauge infection is becoming popular. You can operate these eyes, and the retina can open up. The bands can be released, and the children can have a good prognosis in these cases. If you have a very severe traction in the periphery and you have a lot of subretinal exudation, then sometimes scleral buckling can be done. Although the indications of scleral buckling are reducing as more and more children are undergoing lens sparing vascular vitrectomy in these cases. Vitreous surgery is performed for stage 5 ROP, and the aim here is to do it in bilateral cases so as you can restore ambulatory vision in children, which will be helps them to provide orientation mobility activities to these babies. The important to it is that sometimes you have a very big dense closed funnel. Closed funnels, if you operate, then nothing will come out of it. But if you have this funnel just in the right open of funnel, then sometimes the results can be much better. So UBM is also a very good modality to assess the periphery, where if you want to find the ciliary boundary region, sometimes the retina and fibrous membranes get flashed. So if you want to look out if the for subretinal entry instruments, then UBM is a very good approach to stage 5 ROP to find if there is space for entry of your instruments in this area. Some of the cases, this is stage 5 ROP, usually if it's open, sometimes the results come out very good, but this is very rare that you could get a good outcome like this. Mostly if you operate like this, something like the center just opens up, but the periphery usually does not settle in these cases. So results in advanced ROP are actually very poor. If you see a large number of reports have come out, but success rate in ROP stage 5 is basically if you have attached posterior pole at 6 months, then it is an clinical success of ROP surgery. Usually the peripheral retina does not settle in ROP. So if you see this large series cases was there, 608 eyes, only 20% success rate was reported. And the vision results are also very poor in stage 5 ROP. It's only like you see 8 of your 93 babies in which vision could be reported had a vision of greater than 5 by 200. Results from RP Center again very poor, 33%. From Shankar trial also very poor results are there. So basically you have to avoid, the whole goal is to avoid stage 5 ROP. That is the best way because ROP is an avoidable cause of childhood blindness. This is just to show you a case. Professor Azad is the chief of our center. He operates many of these cases of stage 5 ROP. So I'll just show you. This is stage 5 ROP. First you do a cruciate incision to relax the retina, and so then the peripheral membranes need to be dissected out. And you see the retina can be seen in the center. Then air fluid exchange is being done. Air is coming in. And you see the retina is still not flat, but you can see that peripheral traction has been relieved and either all retrolental membranes have been removed, and centrally, this is a view under air, a lot of traction has been relieved and the retina will gradually fall back as the subretinal fluid will absorb over the next few months. So we don't see AP-ROP in RP center, we don't see AP-ROP in PGI, we don't see AP-ROP in a lot of other big centers in the country, while they save the smallest of babies. So why don't we see AP-ROP? Why don't we see stage 5 in PGI or AIMS or any other top center of the country? Is because of good nursery practices. If you have very good nursery practices, then ROP will not develop in these. While we raise around 150 babies every year, only 2 of these babies eventually come from AIMS itself, AIMS nursery itself. So the incidence of ROP is very low at all top centers in very good nurseries, while stage 5 ROP you get 5 every week at RP center, but none of them are generated from AIMS itself. So what is the root cause? Why do we encounter these stage 5 ROPs coming in such a large incidence? So this was a study published from the PGI in which they found that 86.4% of babies were never screened for ROP. This is just a data of the stage 5 ROPs. When they evaluated stage 5 ROPs, 74.2% infants were self-referred by the parents themselves. The pediatrician never referred these babies. So it's a huge thing to report, that this problem is there. So another study from our center on telephonic interviews were done for around 150 plus pediatricians, and we found that 100% of these pediatricians knew that ROP needs to be screened, but only 34% of them did not refer still any of these babies for ROP screening. So this is a very dramatic situation happening in our country, and while people know that ROP has to be screened, they don't refer for ROP screening. So it's a huge medical legal liability waiting for us to come in our country. So I'd just like to conclude that we have to prevent advanced ROP. Best nursery practices is the key to prevent ROP. If you have a very good nursery, then ROP can be prevented and severe ROP not happen. It doesn't happen in all the top centers of the country, so why does it need to happen in all other centers of the country? So nursery practice is the key. If you have very good nursery practice, ROP will not develop itself. So the chance of going to severe advanced stages will not happen at all. You have to establish a screening program. That is the key which is there in ROP, because there's no other way to screen these babies. You don't know which baby is going to develop ROP. Preterm babies are born across the country, and you need to screen these babies through a screening program. Otherwise, there is no other way to detect these babies. The false security of AP-ROP, aggressive posterior ROP, is a new terminology which came a few years back. It had to replace disease terminologies like rush disease, fulminant ROP, type 1 ROP. And it is the most important cause of ROP from expert hands, and ROP does tend to progress if you don't maintain a high index of suspicion and you keep on waiting for the risk to appear, which will never appear. So if you are in an ROP practice and you practice ROP, then you need to know that AP-ROP is a reality. It occurs very commonly in our country, and we need to be aware of it, because there is no other way and there is no sense in keeping on waiting for ROP to progress. Prompt, correct and complete treatment is essential. Complete treatment in one go is essential in both the eyes. If you keep on waiting for multiple settings like PRP, then the child might not, these children are so sick that you might not be getting another chance for the laser babies. Just finish off the ROP in one setting, because the child might not give you another chance, he might go sick or something. And follow-up is very essential. You need to follow up. The disease is not over till it's over. ROP can progress. Even a small bad area of traction can progress to stage 5 ROP. So just don't laser and let them go, or just don't screen and come after 3 weeks, because these babies can progress at any time, and we need to be aware that the follow-up is not over till the ROP has regressed completely. Thank you.